Mr. Ronnie,
Hi.
I give you the co-host.
Yeah, thanks.
To enable you to present or to video, to send anything, to use
Okay,
any,
thanks.
all the tools can be used from your side.
Okay, thanks.
Hello, everybody. Hello, dears, ladies, gentlemen.
Gray.
Hello. Just to wait, just minutes to enable others to join us. Would you please mute yourself, please? Only the presenter, would you please?
Mamá, te marcaron de Wabi. Sí, pues de hola, ¿qué tal? Buenos días. Le hablo de Wabi. Lo que pasa es que ya no hay pan integral Bimbo. Solo blanco.
Just adjusting. Yeah.
Okay. Every day young maker. So I'm Miss Winnie. I'm from Taiwan. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah. So like I say, I will struggle so many multiple pieces. I can choose 3. So all of you, I want to give you all of you number 1. But actually,
Hello, good evening, Mr. Kamal. You are muted. If you speak, I think you speak to us, but you are muted.
Okay. Thank you, Corina. Thank you. Sorry,
You're welcome.
something. I muted myself by mistake.
It happens.
It happens. Thank you, Corina, because you are with us this night, this evening, because Corina is one of the most and famous member in Eco Training Center and other international NGOs. She is very active. She has comprehensive knowledge about SDG and education and other fields of science. And we are so happy to work with you, my dear Corina.
It's also my honor and my pleasure too.
Thank you. In this evening, we also welcome you all, colleagues, guests, to be with us in this evening. And I pleased to welcome Mr. Ronnie Anthony to talk about SDG number 2, Zero Hunger. By the way, he coordinated with Corina to prepare this presentation, and he will share her in presenting this webinar. Mr. Ronnie is science teacher and SDG coordinator at Starlight International School in Taiwan, and he is Taiwan ETC coordinator and Taiwan coordinator for INO Finland, and he is also teaching SDG, or he is Teach Ambassador 2021 and Green Difference Award 2021. Welcome you all, welcome you Karina, and welcome you Rombi. And the stage for you.
Hi, good afternoon.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
It was kind of my honor. So I need to present SDG goal number 2, Zero Hunger. And I need to say all like thanks to Corina to send me the PowerPoint, because it was a hard topic for a Taiwanese teacher to explain the Zero Hunger, because it is a foreign topic for most of Taiwanese people. So I thought, okay, maybe this is the time I can have the courage and to learn more and to show you, all about the SDG goal number 2, the Zero Hunger. So I want all of you guys to take some time, and I will send you a link. And can you please enter what the SDG goal number 2 means to you? Just enter a word that comes to your mind. You know that's. I just enter, give you a link in your chat room. So please enter what SDG goal number 2 means to you for a Zero Hunger. What did that goal mean to you? So please take 2 or 3 minutes to enter the word that comes to your mind. Hopefully you can see my screen. I will start with the early childhood development for sustainable development of video, and hopefully you can hear this.
Today, we know more than ever about the early years of child development, especially that of the brain. The brain of a child who is nourished and nurtured, read to and played with, protected from factors like stress and conflict, has the best chance of developing its full potential, because it's proven that children who receive proper care, nutrition, and stimulation in the first 5 years do much better in school and in life. Sadly, this is not the case in my country, or in so many other countries in the developing world, where being born into poverty means never breaking out of it. We should be devastated that in 2017, there are still 250 million kids under 5 who are still at risk, who will likely be stunted physically and intellectually. Now take that in for a second. We're talking about nearly the population of an entire country the size of the US. This is a tragedy for those children and an epic failure for all of us. If we don't attend to these kids in time, we're talking about intergenerational cycles of poverty and inequality. And the wider the gap of inequality grows, the harder it becomes to reach across it. And the more numerous the faces of those born into poverty, the more difficult to see and empathize with each individual and recognize that if not for the pure geography of where they were born, they could be one of our children. This should make us all furious. This should make us all want to take action, because we all have a stake in the outcome. The world is facing some serious challenges. By 2050, massive population growth is expected. And we will need to feed 9 billion people, or we will risk being at the threshold of conflict and starvation. Will this generation of kids be ready to take on the task of eliminating malnutrition and providing food security? Will they be prepared to come up with solutions and innovations to climate change, unemployment, and the most complex issues that our society faces? Who will help us manage our resources more efficiently and sustainably going forward from here to the next 20 years? It's your kids, and it's those 250 million kids at risk who need us to tip the scales back in their favor.
So hopefully you know went through this video and you can see how much the zero hunger means to the next generation. Okay, and on one side of the world, when we waste the food, the other side of the world, they're starving, and the development is the most important. It's not just starvation; is their early childhood development is the one that we are questioning. Okay, so I will start my PowerPoint with the help of Karina, who helped me to share this one. So mostly I'm just sharing her PowerPoint to all of you guys, and my sound is just a medium. That's it. So it's all the credits goes to Karina. So thanks a lot for sharing me the PowerPoint. Okay. So hopefully you can see my screen. Okay. So first of all, I will start from about SDGs. This is SDGs kind of things. Sometimes people get confused. So I used to tell my friends, like SDG sustainable development means that we can use the resources now and not, making a cushion for the future. So everyone in the future can also use the resources. So for SDG goal number 2, this is the problem now we're facing, because some part of the world are overusing the resources and others are not getting. And there is a problem and we need to find a solution. We need to have an action plan. So for SDG goal number 2, start from the famous, the Greek philosopher or the father of medicine, Hippocrates, saying that healthy food is your true medicine. And this is overall, you can see it in Indian tradition too. They say when you have a good food, then you don't need of medicine. It's overall, even in Chinese proverb, you can hear this one. When you have a healthy food, you don't need a doctor. Okay. So I will start with the video here.
0. It's usually a beginning, but it can be an ending too. A tiny, simple, beautiful ambition. A nothing that means everything.
Mr. Ronnie,
Like
Ronnie,
zero
Yes.
hunger.
excuse me,
Just
the
imagine-
sound is not clear. The sound is not clear. Never and disturbing. Is something wrong? I don't know.
Okay, so maybe I will skip the video later, okay?
Okay.
Because
0.
is it clear now?
It's usually
No,
Is it clear?
no.
Okay. Okay, so I'll skip the video, okay? Maybe you need to download, okay? So what is it for the zero hunger? It means so we need to work together in different elements from the sustainable goal. So first one, the main thing, we need to end hunger. This is one of the biggest issue. Most of the developing countries and underdeveloped countries, they're facing it. So this is one of the problems, how we can end hunger. And next one is to how we can eliminate all forms of malnutrition and build inclusive and sustainable food system. And it's a big challenge. It's a big challenge that we need to how we can do it. And I asked these questions to a lot of friends, and all as the one, if we can do a local action, this is only be achieved by local action. No matter how the structure is it, unless the locally people or local NGOs or local governments, if they can come up with an idea, this issue will be same there. We cannot end hunger, we cannot eliminate all forms of malnutrition, and we cannot build this sustainable food system. So we need to do the action in locally, and then this will make a change. So what is the main causes of the zero hunger? Mostly we know that is the poor governance. It is the main issue everywhere, and poor governance leads to conflict and issues, and it goes to these poor people or the bottom line than the rich guys. So can we easy to end this one, the world hunger? Actually, we can. We can do it, because if we can try to find the resources shared to each other, and we can try to get an action plans locally. The problem is that if you get a action plans locally built up, there is a solution for this. So we can, with the support of the SDG goals number 2, if you work for 2030, we can end it if there is an action plan. Unless there is no concrete action plan, this will be just in a paper, and we'll be discussing every year about zero hunger, and nothing gonna change. So mainly focus is that how we can build up the action plan in local or in a small village or a small area. That makes a huge difference. So this must be done in our own environment and be supported by others, because sometimes the local government, they don't have enough funding. So we, the world, other people need to support with the funding and technology and how they can sustain it through the agriculture sector. Okay. So what we can do for zero hunger? As I said, there is an action plan. So we need to make the farm to market how we can, and the farmers need to make money, and also we need to encourage the farmers to grow the crops that's nutrition values, and also how we can reduce the food waste. Mostly, the supply chain, there are a lot of issues in the developing and underdeveloped countries, so we need to figure out how we can. And we need to also encourage sustainable variety of crops. This is a huge topic that recently everyone is talking about, because when we go for the GM crops, we are losing our natural wild varieties, and this may get into trouble with the local farmers, because unless they cannot invest money, they can grow the things, and this makes a conflict with the local farmers or poor farmers, and then this makes again the conflict and ends into the hunger issues in a lower or poor family. And the last or the best one is to make nutrition a priority. This is the main thing. The governments, local governments, or the state and the national governments, they need to make sure nutrition is a priority, and it can give the early childhood development a great chance for the little kids to develop. And if you invest a little bit of money in early childhood development, then you don't invest too much in their health issues in old age problems. So if you invest something, it actually can reap it later after 20 years or 30 years. So it is a really good investment for every country to think about it, or every NGOs to think about it, or every international organization thinking about it. When you invest, you're going to reap it after 20 years or 30 years with all the healthy citizens around the world. So why? What are the important things we need to think about it in this SDG goal? We need to be hygiene. This hygiene is one of the top topics now during the COVID-19. We promote this hygiene now to one of the way to prevent the COVID. So hygiene is a part of the living. We need to make it part of the living structure. And the food must be qualitative one. More than the quantity one. How quality is in our food. Are we going to take more fibrous food, more protein-based food than a lot of fatty food? So this is very important, how we can manage the right amount of food, or healthy food. And exercise. Exercise is a part of our healthy being, living one, but that a lot of people, they don't have that, luxury to have the enough exercise time because their life is too hard. They need to work in a very hard condition. So hopefully this this idea of action plan can also include a healthy exercise and for people, and also have enough rest. This is also a big problem for the developing countries too. So if you look at the countries like Japan, even in Taiwan, maybe people overwork and they don't have enough rest. So these all things we need to consider to be a healthy being. So then we can look forward for a society that is more healthy and they have enough food and enough rest and be a happy well-being. So if you want to teach the kids, this is the pattern I used to go with the teaching kids, like we call it ESD, Education for Sustainable Development. Usually I talk about the food and I will ask the kids about what kind of things in the food, and they will actually cut down to have a carbohydrates, they have fat and proteins. And then I try to show them about the pyramid of healthy food, and they will say, we need to eat this. And I give them a chart so the students can write it down, what they eat on the breakfast and the lunch and dinner. And I make them to give that kind of weekly diary report of what they eat. And I ask them come up with, what do you think now? What do you want to change? Do you have to anything you want to change down? And they usually say, yes, we need to eat more protein-based or fibrous food than the fast food. This is the condition I'm talking about Taiwan. So students started to think about what we can change their diet, and they usually come up with, and also they used to say, we need to drink more water. So kids do this part of the learning, the basic information about the food structure, and they start to say, what are the action plan? And I used to say, okay, now what else do you want to do? Can you do something for the other people? So recently, they usually come up with the food thing. They say that we need to put it in their diet system and also put in a school menu. So they come up with we need to put these things in our school menu so we can have enough complete dietary food. And so I used to tell them what else we can push it out of the the school one. So recently, some of my students started working on to communicating with the school around the world, and they were like, what we can do, can we send something to them? So they will come up with the one, can we send noodles? I told them, I don't know if everyone around the world can eat noodles. So maybe we can think about cookies or something that have a longer lifespan and we can send to them. So I'm so happy to see from the kids, the younger generation, they have this enthusiasm or the inquiry base, and they want to find a solution. Hope you educators that part of the ETC can do the same thing, and they come up with the kids to have an action plan and concentrate more on education, on sustainable development for their side. Okay. So the next one, how we can find a solution. This is practically eat variety of the foods and try to eat like not longer period of time, and try to put more fruits and vegetable in fact. But this is one of the problems. It happens to a lot of underdeveloped or developing countries. We kind of stick with a lot of fatty or carbohydrates food, and we forget, or we don't have these facility or the right or luxury to eat more fruits and vegetables and fiber-based food in our local area, or it may cost kind of expensive for us. And again, this is a problem. The fourth one, sugary product, and this is not just in poor countries. This happens in everywhere. Even developed countries, people eat a lot of sugary product and the salt in a high amount. So this one is overall everywhere. This is the biggest problem of eating sugary and salty products. Okay, and eat only if you're hungry. That's very hard for us to get it one. So when Karina gave me the one, I was like, humans, we will sometimes eat for fun. Okay, so it's very hard for us to follow through it. And also we need to consider like the energy based, not wasting the food. Like countries like Taiwan, we do waste the food a lot because maybe sometimes we don't cherish it. We take things for granted. So we know as educators, it's our job or duty to advise the kids and to give the different perception and try to make them discussion that there are people around the world actually, they don't have this right, they don't have this luxury, but we are actually misusing it, and we do take things for granted. And I seen big change from the kid, and I just want to give an example. A few of my students, they came with me during my last birthday, and then I thought of giving sandwiches to people who are at the train station or people like hobos, and they came with me to help. So when we gave the sandwiches, we thought that we have enough sandwiches, and I'm talking in Taiwan, that's kind of very economically developed, but we found that there are more people because of this during the COVID-19 situation. The lot of unskilled workers, they lost their job. They used to work in the restaurant to clean their the plates and everything. So after the restaurants closed during the COVID-19, they were out of the job and they don't have no other place to go because they are not skilled people. So they ended up becoming jobless, and there was an issue that pumped up in Taiwan. Luckily, we are getting back to normal. So hopefully they can get back to a job as soon as possible. So even in a developed country, these problems are there. So it's, I think, more than looking at the underdeveloped or developing or developed countries, it's there. The problem is there when we observe, when we look at the things in local point of view, we can find it. We just need to put it in a bigger vision. Okay, so this is one of the organizations from Taiwan. I found it, and this is the World Vegetable Center, and they are in the south of Taiwan, and they're doing great work. They're promoting sustainable agriculture, and they are coming with a research, and they're getting the crops that can be stored in a drought region, and they are promoting this sustainable agriculture in Africa, in Asia, in a lot of places. And I'm so happy that they are in Taiwan and they're funding a lot, especially for regions that really needs it. So if you guys interested in that, sustainable agriculture, this is a good organization that you can contact if you're in Africa or if you're in the Asian region. This is a good place where you can learn more about sustainable agriculture and technology and funding. So for this PowerPoint, I want to talk about the famous French philosopher Michel de Montaigne. I said that health is the most beautiful and rich gift on which nature can know it. And hopefully we all can be healthy and we can have this hunger or the malnutrition problem, we can stop it. Okay, I will try to share one more video with you, then I will interact with you. Okay, so just give me a second to, okay. Give me a second. I just want to share you some success story that happens about malnutrition one. So, because there are success story happening around the world, so maybe that we can take an example for it, okay?
I'm Rima Tayyem, Professor of Nutrition at the University of Jordan. In this chapter, we are going to cover successful case studies in the Mediterranean region, specifically in the Middle East countries. Case study number 1 will be about wheat flour fortification. Wheat flour fortification reduces the deficiency of many vitamins and minerals all over the world, specifically among Jordan and other Middle East countries. It is fortified with 9 vitamins and minerals. Those vitamins and minerals include vitamin A, vitamin B1, B2, B3, B6, folic acid, iron, and zinc. The prevalence of anemia in Jordan and in other Middle East countries reduced significantly after wheat flour fortification, specifically among children and pregnant women. Also, zinc situation improved significantly among this population, the Middle East population, and in many countries used to fortify the wheat flour. In addition, folic acid fortification reduced the incidence of neural tube defect and spina bifida among newborn infants. In some countries, fortification with vitamin D, calcium, and magnesium is voluntary and depends on the fortification of other consumed foods, like dairy products and juices and other food items. Each country has its own policy to fortify foods in order to avoid reaching toxic level and cause vitamin or mineral toxication. Our second case study is the production of local low-protein flour for patients with amino acid disorder. Amino acid disorder is the inability to metabolize protein and amino acids, so some of those amino acids will accumulate in the blood, causes many signs and symptoms affected the children. Therefore, those children should consume foods low in protein. In Jordan, we were able to produce this low protein flour. Jordanians are now looking to export it to other Middle East countries. Our third case study is the Mediterranean diet, how to make it a sustainable consumption pattern. First of all, Mediterranean diet is considered as a healthy dietary pattern which is loaded of fruits and vegetables and show no association with any chronic disease, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, cancer, or any other chronic disease. Even weight gain is very low for the people who are adopting or practicing Mediterranean diet. On the other hand, in the Middle East, studies have shown that the adoption of Western dietary pattern characterized by high intake of fast food sandwiches, desserts, carbonated beverages, butter, juices, and mayonnaise, and other refined carbohydrates was positively associated with high body mass index, elevated waist circumference. The risk of hyperglycemia and metabolic syndrome will increase significantly, and also different types of cancer. In a meeting for FAO in 2012, they organized an international seminar about improving the sustainability of diets and foods consumption pattern, the Mediterranean diet as a pilot study to be adopted by 6 countries, including Egypt, Greece, Italy, Lebanon, Spain, and Tunisia. In these 6 countries, 300 restaurants were assigned the logo of the Med diet. So it is expecting for these 6 countries to have lower prevalence of cardiovascular diseases, of cancer, and many other chronic diseases related to nutrition if they apply this policy in their restaurants. Now they are going to evaluate the effect of this Med diet label on the restaurants, on the people eating from these restaurants, and see how much the prevalence of those chronic diseases decrease. The collective trademark Med diet guarantees the following items: selection of local products, dishes made with traditional recipes, customer focus and sharing information and awareness on the Mediterranean diet among the restaurant visitors. Mediterranean diet offers more vegetables, more fruits, whole grains, and little amount of sweets, red meat, and concentration on legumes as a protein source for the meals. To wrap up, we have 3 successful stores in the Middle East countries, and we hope to increase the number and make it more successful and spread this knowledge to all other countries in the Middle East. Thank you very much.
Azizur Rahman, I show your hands raised. Do you have any questions?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Ronnie.
Okay, I just want to add something. Okay, just want to add.
Okay.
Because when we talk about SDG1, I think the important is about how we can educate. We need to consider how is the ESD, education for sustainable. That's more important, because I think most of us, we know all the SDG goals, the issues one, but as an educator, sometimes it's very hard for us to communicate this idea and put that in effort, like put it in a classroom. So that is a mostly an educator's face, this problem, how we can put these SDG goals in our classroom. So for me, I think that you guys need to make this goal a very localized importance. Make it very localized, one, and also being integrative and not additive, and also promoting interdisciplinary in your own schools, and trying to find an action plan and make the students to know that they have the say, and makes the student agency, and to make the students more important than the teachers. And then you can try to implement all the SDG and try to focus on the emotional, like a social emotional learning, like SEL practice. This can help you to put these SDG goals in your teaching. And this will make a difference, because the action plans need to come from the students, other than we putting the pictures of SDG goal number 1 to 17. And it's for the students. I knew it. They always say, yeah, that's 1 and 2. They memorize it. So we need to find how we can make it in, for student-oriented one, than just a beautiful picture. And I hope at the end of the one, I want all of you guys to come up with a one action plan, maybe that we can actually find something from this, the top. So I'm just sending you a link. So just, you can give me an action plan that we can do for an SDG goal number 2, zero hunger. So I send you a link. Just type your action plan, that one you want to do, that can have a change in this issue, zero hunger. And then we can come up with them. Maybe we can practice this one at least. And I want you to have this a practical solution, not a dreamy one, that you can do it, okay? Not an idealistic one, an action that you can do it, just post it so we all can share, we can know it, and we can try this action plan in future, okay? So hopefully you've seen that one. I send you a link. Okay, and if you guys have any question, I'm sending my email. Please feel free to shoot at me. Okay, as I told you, for me, for SDG is kind of student oriented as an educator. So I find a ways how can I make these SDG goals in my classroom, than as something a foreign thing or something that can put it on the wall. So that's my, look, or like looking for nirvana, like a Buddha. That's my quest. How can I make these SDG goals appealable to the students? Sometimes certain goals for them is a foreign thing, like a hunger. For a lot of Taiwanese students, for them they like, what? Like they don't feel it. Okay, so I need to make sure there is a hunger in your neighborhood, but we are not looking at the right way. And then the kids get into it, and they start to come with a discussion, and they have a lot of ideas, and you will find interesting. That's the reason I was shocked. They say, oh, have a noodles. So I need to tell them, no, I don't think, everyone in every part of the world, they eat noodles. But we need to change, because they do want to do something, they like, and they are just the fourth graders and fifth graders. They want an action, they want to send, and they will even think about it, how we can send it during the COVID-19. And I was like, we can try, they were worried about it. Okay, so if you have any question, anything, please feel to ask me. If I can answer you.
Yes, Mr. Ronnie. I think we have so many questions from the audience. And I will begin that there is a remark given from one of the participants related to the success story that you shared us, and because of the sound wasn't clear, So somebody asked us if you say one or two from the four of these case study.
The success stories means fortified. They use the wheat to fortify the one, adding these, the minerals into it, like calcium, all the things. So you can have a less malnutrition. And that was the one of the kids. And I heard that they start exporting to the other countries. And they also, talking about how the food safety, it was a success in Jordan, because they said it was very successful to add those, the wheat fortified one. And normally it's in everywhere, the milk, they fortify a layer of calcium into it. So it's seen in developed countries very easily, but they're doing it in a way to solve malnutrition in those areas. And it's a success story. The second one, sticking with your basic, the cuisine. Because when we go for fast food or like something in a modern way of life, you lose your own identity. And they say, if you keep an authentic Mediterranean, or like, people in the area that that your cuisine is a great. But when we change the cuisine and we get our fat, and then that's the time the problem comes in. So if you stick with your own roots, what you used to eat when you're from a grandparents, and that is a healthy diet. Because so these are educating the younger people. Yes, we have sodas and everything is there, but if you want to go back to the root and educate them, the basic idea of their roots, and there is a solution in it. You just need to find a solution, and this is like a success story. And they say those keeping those whole family dietary system, they are more healthier than the people who use fast food chain food. Okay, so this is, we can learn from our culture. We just need to dig it. That's it.
Okay. We have hand raised from Azor. You can ask your question. You can ask your question, Azizor Rahman. Azizor Rahman. Okay. There is many thanks for you, as Mr. Azizor is not ready, but there is many thanks for you. But there is a note from Muhammad Anwar. Malnutrition is big problem of the world. What is the best solution for it?
Sorry, can you repeat again?
What is the best solution for stopping malnutrition?
As I told you, it must be from a local action, because no matter what, you have international funding, unless the local action is insufficient, the funding goes on the wrong people, wrong hands, that. Because unless you form a local team and you find exactly the local action, all the ideas and everything is just a waste. The funds, I think sometimes there are a lot of funds to go here and there, but it's ended up in a clerical way or just in a bureaucracy, but not reaching into the real needy person. So I hope local action, or local, the governments or local people in a small village or in a small area, if they can come up with an action plan, and then you can start building your network. And one of the person, I just see the one where you can get this information. I can send you as I told you, there's AVDRC from Taiwan. I can send you the link. They do fund a lot of sustainable agriculture, the project and programs in Africa, in Sri Lanka, and some other South American countries. So I can give you the website and the contact. You can contact to them. They're already working on it. And they're actually providing drought resistant varieties of corn. And last time I saw that, there was an African and a farmer having a lot of okra, ladyfinger on scooter, and going to a market from that side. So I will provide information as much as I can.
Okay, good. Mr. Azuzara, if you want to ask a question, go ahead, please. Okay, anyone want to ask can raise hand and have a mic to say this. Okay. you mentioned that the solution depends on the local contributions from individuals in the local level, I think. Here, I want to ask you, Mr. Ronnie, about the contribution of the governments. As we know that sustainability balanced in three dimensions: economy, social, and environment. If we want to solve the problem of stopping junk food or fast food, it means we are going to stop so many shops all over the world. It means there is maybe many people lose their jobs, and maybe is not can achieve the balance between the three dimensions.
There are a solution, and I know that thing, the solution. If you like a soft drinks that in Taiwan, we know that you're not allowed to have a sugary soft drinks in the school, So there are restrictions on cafeteria that you need to promote that culture. So if you ask the Taiwanese, they will never drink a tea with like a sugar that much. So when I get to Taiwan, usually I want a lot of sugar, and then they will used to educate me that no sugar. And now I'm in a position that I hate sugar now. Actually, if you put more sugar in the coffee or tea, I would like, it doesn't taste good. So it is a local action, okay? So local action is very important. And also I give you another example for you. Like I am basically from India. I'm from Kerala, south of India. So I knew long time ago, very, very long time ago, the local panchayat, they thought that we're not supposed to sell certain soft drinks. I don't want to name it, so it's not good. So
it's become a type of culture. It means most of the people go to the fast food shops and buy and eat. Even the children, adolescents, young teenagers, and it's become part of their lives. And I know, as father, I know that I have many problems. I struggle to stop them go there. But even though the announcements, the commercials, the internet is covered with the announcement for eating junk food, this is not the individual responsibility. This is the government of the global effort.
You're right, because they do have more money, so our voices won't heard that bigger like them. That because they have a bigger media, so they can publish. So, but as an educator, that's what we need to like. We like in our school but we say no, and we try to educate the kids. But I figured out if the educators try to educate from early childhood, there is a change, because I think we can make a change, because I seen it. Because in Taiwan too, these things are available, but at a certain time we can focus on early childhood. It needs to start from very early childhood. When you start from early childhood, you educate them in the schools to say, this is not healthy. For them, it's not healthy, because no matter what they change,
I mean both in the schools and in the public community. I mean,
it need to work together.
Contribution.
Yeah, it need to work together. But I really don't know if we can get that much support from the local government or something, because business is that they have more money, so they're going to bypass it. So as an educators, I think we need to promote that culture of eating healthy food. And I think if you start from the junior high school, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You need to start from early childhood, start from a kindergarten. Then there is a change. Otherwise, it won't. I tell you the truth. It just, they're going to say, but they're going to drink. That's they will be, we know it, but it's fine, So if you start from early childhood, I think there's a change, because I've seen it in Taiwan too. The kids, you got educated from early, because not just about drinks, it's about the recycling. Because I've seen that when the kids got educated from early childhood, the behavior of recycling, of these things, it's actually, it's like a learning, it's there, it's put in their brain, and they knew it is right thing or wrong thing to do. So we need to start from early childhood, and also hopefully we can have the support from the government. but I think it's just
It's a must.
you know,
It's a must
yeah,
to be supported from the government.
yeah.
Yeah. There is Mr. Dari. You want to ask?
Thank you, Professor Kamal. I'd like to ask Ronnie. Ronnie, I'm just curious, how are you able to integrate ideas of the SDGs in your school, particularly in the curriculum? How did you incorporate it? Because you were mentioning earlier, it should start from the preschool, no, not in the junior high school or the higher years. So can you give me or us an idea on how you were able to integrate it? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Actually, initially, is I feel very hard. So normally, what I usually I put all these 17 goals, okay, in a classroom, and I give them a sticky notes, okay. And when I have a topic, if any some topic that I start to teach, I ask them, which goal do you think it is? And they will start writing the goal, and I will say, what do you think this is? And I will ask this question, what do you think this is, this goal? And they will write something. And 99% is they're right. 99% they will come exactly the one or two, or sometimes, you know, SDG goals are spilled. It's not exactly one SDG goal. So you know that sometimes these SDG goals are spilled into another SDG goal. So like SDG goals, sustainable cities, it can be life on the land, or, you know, our conception, you know, that smart conception is, it can be also life on the hand or life on the water. So it spills to 2 or 3 SDG goals. But students are very good at it because they will come up with, but when you talk about a question and you make a story, that, and also you need to find a localization, okay? Don't say something that not related to them. Then they're not interested in it. So make them something like localized thing. And also I use the word nag them. You know, I make them to nag. So make uncomfortable. That's the time they started to have the fire and started a discussion mode and start writing a lot of words. And I don't care about grammatically perfect one. I just want them to come up with an ideas and I stick it on it. And then it's our goal. And then we got it. Okay. Then you start working on it. And then I asked them to how we can do the action plan. So I try to use that, you know, like the one experience, and you have the reflect and think act style. And yeah, I just go with it. And I think hopefully you can understand, and hopefully I answered your questions.
Thank you very much, Ronnie.
Okay, thanks a lot.
I think it's not easy question and not very hard question, but I think all of us say that education, the vehicle of the change in the mentality first, before changing in actions in the reality. I mean, we as educator have a big and importance role for this change, because we see that most of the previous history of thinking related to the health, hunger, poverty have let's say economical mentality, but we need to think with other side. I mean the human and the benefits for the people. So I think education have the basic role to answer your question, how to integrate this in the curriculum or the education process. It means that we all have our responsibility as educators, as parents, as government also, to do this change. It is not a matter of if it is important or not. We are all agreed it's important, but the question how can do this, and this is the long process. In fact, thank you. There is so many notes from our participants here. Yes, you don't put sugar in tea. It's good. Pursuing to consume local foods as far as possible is the best way. I'm looking for if there is any questions. I'm sorry if I missed any note.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Winnie. I'm teacher from Taiwan. So I'm
You are
so glad
welcome.
that in Taiwan we have a teacher like Teacher Ronnie.
Yeah.
Because he promotes this SDG. I mean, just unfortunate he's in Taichung, not in Taipei, our capital city. But it's definitely pleasure and honor to have a teacher with the, this, vision, like a Teacher Ronnie. So I would like to, respond and reply to Teacher Dan Dari, how to, make the SDG curriculum into your lesson. I think when you make a curriculum, maybe it's big. So like a Teacher Ronnie say, as teacher, you need to you need to understand or get involved with the SDG. And maybe you don't need to make it a big curriculum, but you need to make a connection. So like a Teacher Ronnie say, he put the SDG as a reminder in the classroom. That's really cool. I can share experience in my school. I'm a primary school teacher. I'm teaching younger kids from 8 to 12. So we have a lesson. For example, I just mentioned about you don't need to make a big curriculum, but definitely as a teacher, you can make a connection. So we have a lesson teaching kids about, how to tie the shoes, when they are first grader, they need to do something, be independent, like clean up their school bag and also tie the lace shoes. And also they need to learn how to fry eggs. But yeah, from this, from this action, if we just focus on skill, the kids need to be first grader, they need to take care of themselves and they need to be independent. But while they are tying, practicing their shoes, if the teacher can mention about you got a new shoe for your school. So can you imagine that maybe in some places around the world, they are, kids, they don't have the money to, to do all the new supplier for the school begin. So I think, so this one, maybe we can just connect to the SDG, maybe SDG 4, poor poverty, and or maybe gender, school education equality. And also talking about the egg. We teach the egg, not a fire, how to, open the fire, how to crack the egg, but the egg, where they come from. Do they come from like a friendly animal farm? So why we teach this lesson actually is a curriculum, but we definitely can connect them to this SDG goal. So I'm so grateful that ETC organization are promoting this SDG goal for teacher, educator like me to get more involved and familiar about this SDG goal. So thank you so much. And also one good news I want to share from Taiwan. So we also want to teach the kid about less food waste. Zero food waste is hard, but we teach the kid how to grow their vegetable. So in our, as for me, my experience, my school in Taipei, so there is a program. We encourage the kids and teacher to, to grow their own vegetable. Maybe not so from the beginning, but actually we found that from doing this, the kids will cherish the food they eat on the plate. So actually it's from garden to table. They will know, it takes so much, they need to go to the garden watering, and also they need to take care. There are some, parasite or they leave eaten, something the growing harvest not as good as they are expected. So they would become cherished about their food on the plate. So let's from this practicing, they will, begin to cherish their food and reduce the food waste. And also, we also in our market, we see that there are some fruits. Maybe they are not good looking, but it's still, on the shelf. So we also want to educate our students to choose the food, but not choose the food by their appearance over packaging. So that will, so as an educator, we try to do some effort about reducing from our consumer behavior. Yeah, so hope that keep going. Yeah, we need work harder and united together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Uni. Thank you for the great information and good story about how to do an education, how can education help to end or for zero hunger. There is a big thank from our colleague Corina Chishda. She said, I would like to say a big thank you to the board member of ETC who understand my situation. In this occasion, we say heartful condolences for our colleague Corina Shujda for her loss. And gratitude to Ronnie, who accepted to replace me today. As I told Ronnie, everyone may research for some information and pictures, but but one slides, but is the way how you present those slides, and you did everything in an exceptional way. Thank you very much. Also,
Thanks.
I say very thank you very much for you, Ronnie, for also for Corina, for informative, very informative, I think, presentation, and for the fruitful discussion from all the participants here in this webinar. I also open the floor if there is any questions you can address directly for Ronnie. Otherwise, I can end the webinar here.
I just put my email before, so if you have anything, please contact me. Okay. And for Dari, usually I think you will do a good job because there is a fire inside you, so don't worry too much. Okay, I can see you because if you have a fire, you will get it. Okay, that's the fire from inside that you want to teach. I made a big mistake initially. I'll tell you when I was teaching SDG for the kids. Before I used to tell the kids about this is SDG goal number 3, and then I'll start. And then later I figured that was a big mistake. And the kids, they don't care.
What does it mean?
Because if I say a topic, okay, today we're going to learn about SDG number 2, SDG number 3, kids get bored, they don't get involved, and I become and they just disorder. So I stopped telling them goal first. I will try to talk about an issue and and I started to let them figure out. And they will really, sometimes they will figure out a different SDG goal. So usually if you have a smart board, it's so easy because you can put the SDG, all the goals, boom, there, and they will start to write with the different colors and they will leave it, and they love it because they want to show off. They want to show off how good they are. They will draw some pictures and everything, and they become so creative. And then I saw once one of the kid actually had a lot of other goals too, and she just started adding her own goals. And I told her, that's creative. I love it. Keep doing it. For her priorities are different. So she started adding different goals to it. Then I tried to tell her, actually, this goal also come under this. And then she like, that's it. And then I got a really good helper because she studied very well. Then she knows a lot of things better than me now because she knows what's kind of comes under every goal. So Dari, I think you will be great, from your enthusiasm will be great. The only thing as educators, we can work on some action plan that we can try to implement. Sometimes the action plans, we can get a great action from the kids. They will give you great ideas. And that may not work in your country, but may work in our country too. You got it? Maybe it's not feasible in your country. Maybe he or she thinking like 10 years ahead, but maybe it works in another country. So if we can have a platform of sharing an action plan that students want, maybe in the future we can start to do it. Every goal have a student's action plan, and ETC can share. So we know these are the action plan we can try to do in our the places. Okay. So again, thanks a lot for everyone. If you have any question, please share with me. I will try to answer as much as I can. And please, I don't know everything. I know something, a little, that's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And big thanks for you, Ronnie, and for others. I am Kamal Jiber, the Eco Training Center board member, talking from Sweden, and the moderator for this sessions, this group of sessions. And I hope all the participants be with us in the next session next Tuesday. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Manian. Thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot. Ian. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks,
You're
Lucky.
welcome.
Thanks a lot. Ian.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks a lot. Ian. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it a lot.
Actually, this session is finished. I appreciate